You replay conversations in your head way more than you should. Someone gives you a short response, and suddenly your brain starts telling you they don't like you anymore. They don't text back fast enough. They look at you a little differently. They don't laugh at something you said. And somehow your brain turns that into proof that something is wrong with you. And the weird part is, you don't even realize you're doing it. You just think this is normal. For the longest time, I thought everyone lived like this. I thought everyone apologized constantly. I thought everyone changed how they acted depending on who they were around. I thought everyone secretly felt like they were being judged all the time, but they don't. And when I finally realized that, it explained a lot about why I always felt exhausted around people. For years, I apologized for everything. Someone bumps into me, sorry. Someone misunderstands me, sorry. I'd even say sorry after sharing my own opinion, like I needed permission just to exist in the conversation. And I didn't even notice I was doing it. It just felt normal. Looking back now, I think the reason was simple. I cared way too much about what people thought of me. Not in an obvious way, in a quiet way. The kind that slowly changes who you are without you realizing it. When I was younger, I became really good at adapting to people. If I was around one group, I acted one way. Another group, different personality, different jokes, different opinions, different version of me. And it actually worked. People liked me. I fit in everywhere. But there was one problem. None of those versions were actually me. After a while, I stopped knowing what I actually thought about things. My opinions were just whatever the people around me believed. And that sounds small, but it slowly messes with your confidence. Because when you're constantly performing for people, your brain never gets to relax. You're always watching yourself, always adjusting, always trying not to mess up. I remember one time I posted something online when I moved to a new school. Nobody liked it, and that shouldn't matter. But I spent the entire weekend thinking about it. Seriously, 2 days, thinking maybe everyone secretly disliked me, even though I barely talked to those people. That's when I started realizing something wasn't right. I wasn't reacting to reality. I was reacting to what I imagined people were thinking. And those are two very different things. The worst part about caring too much about what people think is that you eventually stop making decisions for yourself. You start choosing things based on what sounds impressive, what sounds normal, what sounds acceptable, not what you actually want. Even simple things, clothes, hobbies, plans, opinions, everything slowly turns into performance. And the scary part is, most people don't even know it's happening. Then there's the people pleasing, which sounds like a good thing at first. It sounds like being kind, being reliable, being helpful, but it's not. People pleasing is what happens when saying no feels dangerous. So you say yes to things you don't want to do. Yes when you're tired. Yes when you're busy. Yes when it costs you something. Just so nobody gets disappointed. And for a while, people like that version of you because you're easy, you're convenient, you never push back. Until one day, you realize something strange. The people whose approval you worked the hardest for weren't thinking about you at all. They were just thinking about themselves, just like everyone else. The turning point for me was realizing something simple. Most people aren't watching you. They aren't analyzing you. They aren't judging every little thing you say. They're too busy worrying about themselves, the same way you are. And once I understood that, I started trying something new. I just started saying no. Not to everything, just when I actually meant it. At first, it felt uncomfortable, like something bad was about to happen, like people would suddenly stop liking me, but almost nothing changed. Most people didn't care, and the ones who did care usually only cared because they benefited from me saying yes all the time before. And that tells you everything you need to know. Something else changed. I stopped apologizing for things that weren't my fault. I stopped replaying conversations in my head all night. I stopped trying to predict what everyone else was thinking. And slowly, I started feeling like myself again. Not the version of me that was trying to impress everyone, just me. If you feel like you overthink every interaction, or worry too much about what people think, or feel like you're constantly adjusting who you are depending on who you're around, there's a good chance you're doing the same thing I was doing. You're trying to be liked by everyone. And that sounds harmless, but it slowly makes you forget who you are. Sometimes the most important thing you can learn how to say is just no.